So this is going to be the last in the series of the tab explanation, and I'm talking about the vibrato bar on the guitar, sometimes known as a tremolo arm or a whammy bar, depending on where you come from and the language you use, but it's more or less the same thing. There's three techniques I'm going to show in this video with the tab that goes along with it. I'm also going to do a little follow-up to this to explain the usage of the vibrato bar in more detail, but I don't want to get bogged down on this first video, so I'm just going to look at the things that it shows on the tab. Now, the first one that it shows is something that's called a vibrato bar dip. So looking at the tab, when we perform this technique, what we're going to do is play a note, in this instance 7th fret on the G string, and then we're going to use the vibrato bar to lower the pitch by pushing the bar down towards the guitar. Again, I'll cover this in the next video, the usage of the bar, and then we're going to release the pressure on the bar to let it come back to the original note. So we can see, looking at the tab, that it's the 7th fret on the G string. We can also see, if you look above the actual 6 lines of the tab, between the tab and the musical staff, it also shows that we want to be lowering the pitch of the note by a half step. Now on a guitar that is 1 fret. So if we were just to perform these notes by picking, we'll be going from the 7th fret down to the 6th fret, then back up to the 7th fret. So to pick them, they'd sound something like. In this instance, it doesn't give you a tempo, but for this technique it's normally a little bit faster than that, so it'd be more like. I could even do a little pull and hammer on too. So I do that for myself, and that's a technique that I use to give myself in my mind, in my ear, a reference for the notes that I want to be hearing, because when I'm using the vibrato bar, I don't have the frets to guide me to exact notes, so I've got to rely on trying to know the notes that I want to hit. So in this instance, I'm going to play a single note on the 7th fret, push the bar down, hopefully so it sounds like a 6th fret note, and then release it back up to the 7th fret. So again, just really quick before we start, the reference note is what I want to be trying to sound like. So we'll set the bar, and we'll do it, try and do it using the bar. So a couple of those I was a little bit off pitch. I think the first one and the third one I was not quite in pitch as what I would want to be, but the more you practice it, the more it comes to you. So you've just got to get used to how much pressure you apply on the bar, and just used to holding that in your hand. As I said, I'll cover this in the next video that's going to continue from it. So moving on to the second of the 3 vibrato bar techniques that we're seeing on the tab. This one's called the dive and return. Now, it's very similar to the one that I've just played, but you can see, hopefully, if you look up top at the musical staff, there's 3 notes that are played, or they look like they're played separately, but we're using the bar to move between the 3 notes. So this, for example, I'm going to play it a little bit slower than the last technique, and we're going to start, if we look down at the bottom of the tab, we're going to start at, it's an open D string, so we're starting with the D note, and then we've got like a little V shape that comes down and back up. That's going to be the action of our bar, basically, the way that we want to apply the pressure to our bar. And at the bottom of the V shape, it says -1. So if you notice on the last one that we've done, it said -1/2, so that was half a step, 1 fret. This one says -1, so it's a full step, which is 2 frets on your guitar. So we're going to go from the D, we want to go down a whole tone, -1, which happens to be a C, and we're going to come back then up to the D. Now, using my previous technique of trying to hear the notes in advance, because I'm playing an open string to start with, my open D string, because it's an open string, I don't have any lower frets, so I can't actually go down to the C on that string as it's shown in the tab. But what I can do, and I know this, and if you've got to the point where you're incorporating these vibrato bar techniques into your playing, hopefully you'll be at the point where you do know a few of the notes on your fretboard. So you should also know by now that if we play an open D string, it's the same as playing the 5th fret on our A string. Sometimes we use that particular bit of theory for doing relative tuning. So for now, if I want to hear those notes, I'll pretend it's going to be that 5th fret on my A string, and then go down 2 frets the whole step, which is a C, and then back up to my D. So the 3 notes, as we look at them on the tab, is going to be a D, down to a C, back up to the D. So again, I've got that audio reference point in my ear of what the tuning of what the pitch of these notes should sound like. So when we come to do it with the bar, we'll do it with the open string on the D as it's asking us to do, and we're going to hit the open string. That's going to be a D note, and we're going to try and get down to the C and then back up by pushing the bar and then back down again. If we need to check it at any time, we can play the notes. So we can compare the pick notes with what we're doing with our vibrato bar. And again, practice, the more times you do it, you'll get to the feel of the bar and how much you need to push it down, the pressure you need to put on in order to be able to create the correct notes. And finally, the last of the 3 techniques is called a vibrato bar scoop. So this is a little bit like I've done a previous video on pre-bends. So we're actually going to do something before we pick the note. In this instance, with the bar scoop, what we're going to do is we're going to lower the bar, push the bar towards the guitar, and then we're going to pick the note it's asking us to play, and then we're going to release the bar, and it's going to come to the correct pitch. So it's almost like we're starting at a lower pitch, picking the note, and then just releasing the pressure on the bar to allow it to come back up again to sound the notes. On the tab, it's not telling us how far down to go, but we just want to go down sort of what feels right for the song, and it's giving us 3 notes to have a go at practicing. 4th fret, 5th fret and 7th fret on the G string. So without any bar, those are the notes that we're going to be playing. So when we do the scoop, we're going to press the bar down, then pick, and then let the bar come up. So we're starting lower than what we want to be, and then letting the note come up as we release the pressure on the bar to get to the note that we want to play. As I've mentioned before, this technique using this vibrato bar is completely different from any of the other things I've done previously on this explaining tab series, which is why I'm going to do another video just talking about the bar more generally, and a few things that I didn't really have time to talk about, just covering these tab techniques. As ever, if you've got any questions arising from what I've just played in this video, if something's not clear, or if I still haven't covered it in the next video, please get in touch, send us a message, post me a comment down below the video, and I will, as always, get back to you and help you as much as I can. But it's a bit of fun, something different to do with the guitar, using the vibrato bar. So give it a go if you can, and enjoy.